inside the Gamecocks. The show, hour 2, brought to you by our friends at Palm Casual. PalmCasual.com, the best furniture that money can buy. Bluffton, Myrtle Beach, Mount Pleasant, and Somerville. And we're so thankful for those who have traveled to Palm Casual from all across the great state of South Carolina. It's the best made stuff out there, and you got it for 30 days, and you can bring it back if you'd like. After 30, you got to keep it now, but you get 30 to decide whether you want to, but you'll keep it. I promise. Money back guarantee. It is the best of the best of the best. PalmCasual.com. Speaking of all those best, there he is. The great Pat DiMarco. He does everything well. The great Pat DiMarco. Football, golf. I'm not so sure about basketball. Baseball.
Well, I'm more of a big four now. You used to run the point in high school. Kind of outgrew that. Got too slow. All those things. So now I'm more of a big four. Stretch four.
Stretch four. Stretch four. He can stretch a drive about 400 yards, it seems sometimes. They fly. There's no doubt about that. You've got the award.
We'll see here in 2 weeks. Letterman's golf tournament coming up here on the 15th. Over at Fort Jackson. I'm actually working with Shelly right now. We're finishing up all the sponsorship stuff, getting auction items in. So excited about that. It'll be fun to reconnect with everybody.
Well, that's going to be a great day, as it always is. One of the neat tournaments. There's always golf tournaments that have to do with something in South Carolina every year. There's tons of them, I feel like. But this one is one of the good ones. And Saturday was a good one at Williams-Brice Stadium. They, look, it was 30-20. You felt like the Gamecock defense, obviously, in the second half, they had it under control. It actually kind of felt a little bit similar to Oklahoma. I don't think they're going to be able to score, and then they stepped on their throat there late in the fourth quarter and put 2 touchdowns on the board in the last 5.5 minutes or so and put them out of their misery. That was great to see from this Gamecock offense.
You know what? I actually did not go to the game, and I actually went to sleep after Debo made that tackle on 4th and 1. I rolled over, and I felt confident. I went to sleep, and I woke up at like midnight, like, damn it, did they end up pulling through? 44-20. I was like, nice.
It was well in hand at that point, right? Yeah. It's like they're not moving the ball here.
Folks, that's what makes our program the best. We got JC who doesn't know how to turn on a mic. We got our film analyst Pat DiMarco who hadn't even watched the film.
I watched it.
Doesn't even watch the games. But we're here for you. We'll give you the best coverage you can find.
I got some good shit for you guys today.
Oh, man, notes
down this stuff.
I feel excited about this.
I put a bunch of plays in there this week. I just felt like there were a lot that we needed.
Yeah, you wanted to make me work. Last week was a bye week. We kind of shot the bull. You said, all right, we're going to double down here. No,
that's right.
It's all good stuff.
Well, I will give you something. At least you show up, unlike Flint. You can't count on him on Fridays anymore.
That's
so.
Fired.
Yeah. Oh, I blew the doors off him all day on Saturday. I just embarrassed him every chance I got. Pat, before we get into the film and stuff like that, though, A&M has a really good football team. Shane had laid out a lot of the numbers going into the game, the fact that they were the highest scoring offense in the league when it came to SEC, the SEC. They've kind of gone back and forth with the quarterbacks this year. They elected to go straight to Marcel Reed. They were going to stick with him.
He's a stud. Game. Like, he's good.
Very good. Yeah, I really like him a lot. I think he's going to win them a lot of games down the road. But it's in the second half, it became when Carolina came out, you could tell they went into halftime and it was like, all right, we prepared for both, but this is the guy and here's what we're going to do. So what changes now that you've seen the game? Or what did you see that maybe they did a little bit differently? Maybe they weren't changes. Maybe it was just more focused in other areas. But in the second half, it was night and day. They could not move the football against the Gamecocks.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is like coming out, we ended up scoring on our first drive in the second half, which put a little pressure on them. And then they went for, I think A&M's not used to playing from behind either. So they kind of felt the pressure. They went for it on fourth down at the 35-yard line, 40-yard line in minus territory and didn't get it. And then we're up 2 scores. And just when you're up 2 scores, there's a lot of like peace and confidence in it when you're the one up 2 scores. When you're down 2 scores, you kind of get in a little bit of panic mode. You got to make shit happen, got to make it happen fast. So I think they started stressing a little bit. And I mean, I would say our defense kind of puts everybody in panic mode. Our defense is phenomenal. Did really good in short yardage situations on Saturday. I mean, we stopped them several times in short yardage situations and put pressure on the quarterback. I mean, the Reed kid made some really good throws in the first half and even down the stretch in the second half. Made one really dumb throw to OD, but that was part of kind of being pressured and feeling like he needed to make a play. So it was, on all accounts, Carolina played a really good football game. Lenore's played, I think, his best, most composed game of the year. Rocket Sanders showed that he's one of the best backs in the SEC. The offensive line played well. Obviously we had our will kind of running the ball, which was weird because both of these run defenses were pretty good. And A&M, we dented them like all game. So no, I was pleasantly surprised. I knew it was kind of going to be one of those closer games, coin flips. It was a good matchup on both sides, and you guys came out on top.
Yeah, we'll see some of this in the plays that we're going to show, but Lenoris, it seemed like a lot of those runs that were designed for him, off tackle, outside. He was getting into that a lot quicker than we've seen. What is that? Did it look like just a design quarterback run, or did they maybe give him, hey, one pre-snap read, and if it's not there, it turns into this? Can you give us some insight into those things or no?
I think there was a good blend. I think some of them were like built-in quarterback runs off action. What I realized watching the tape, some of the stuff that you sent was A&M bumped a lot, or like they kind of told you what the story was with motion. So, and I know Dow, as detailed as he is, if he got a look and he knew the corners were running, or if they were bumping like that, they got the look they wanted and they were able to dial it up. So I think it was probably 50-50. Half of it was true quarterback run game, and then half of it was kind of zone read stuff. But I mean, shoot, some of the stuff he did in the pocket. I mean, we did give up 0 sacks, but Lenoris was pressured a lot. He got hit a lot, bounced off of stuff. I mean, it kind of reminded me, and if anybody tuned into Lenoris's podcast that we did last week, he emulates his game after Cam Newton. And there were some Cam Newton type plays where I remember SEC championship game, Tony Stroud or Antonio Allen, one of the two, runs scot-free right down the middle, hit Cam right in the back. And he just like oh, but what bug just bit me, and just kind of took off. And it was kind of the same essence with Lenoris back there. He made a lot of really good plays with his feet, had good pocket presence, was able to escape, break some tackles, drop his shoulder on somebody, which was good to see. I mean, he slid early in the game, like a half a yard short. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're 250, dude. Just fall forward. But he looked composed. He looked confident. If we get this Lenore Sellers for the next 4 games, I think we're going to be happy campers, guys.
Yeah, well, he thought about going down on the Gamecocks sideline, and then he decided, yeah, you know what?
Stephen Garcia was in his ear. Stephen Garcia basically called him a you know what, and it challenged him a little bit.
Yeah, well, he would have heard that and more had he slid a yard or two short on the Gamecocks sideline over there. That was something that was pretty neat to see. All right, we'll go to the tape now and get into the quote film room and talk some ball with the great Pat DiMarco. I think we've got 8 plays this week, Pat. Offense and defense. Obviously, it was quite the night under the lights at Williams-Brice Stadium. The atmosphere was just absolutely amazing. Here's Sellers early in the game, touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, here you go. You see the receiver kind of bump across. It pulls 2 guys out of the box. And I've said this once. I've said it 100 times. Football is about numbers and then knowing where your best players are. And here you go. When he goes over, I mean, we have an extra player. We have 5 blockers and they have 5 defenders on that side, and one guy is going to hold the ball. So 6 on 5, who do you think is going to win that battle? As long as guys take good landmarks, and Josh Simon and Josiah Thompson did a great job here. If you want to get really in detail, this freaking tray block by Nick Harbor and Mazio Bennett. A tray block is usually a tackle and a tight end. We got 2 receivers on a tray block working up the play side backer. The play side backer shoots, and Rashawn's able to grab a hold of him in the hole. So, I mean, they're trained to nobody. They're trained to air. And it's a good sign when you have a double team that isn't working to somebody and everybody else is accounted for. Easy touchdown, great play call. I mean, just like that, that's how you draw it up. I'm sure that's how they installed it. That's the look they got several times in practice, and they went out and executed.
That put Carolina up 7-0. And then Pat, fourth and short here, Marcel Reed, 180 pounds, wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, here you go. Like an internal surge of, I mean, TJ Sanders is getting like really good draft grades on some of this early stuff that I'm seeing, you know, late first, early second type stuff. And I mean, to basically dent the defense right here, him and Tonka just basically, you see the interior 3 fall back with 2 guys, and then Knight going over the top, Nicky getting involved.
What's the key there, Phil? If you can back that up, I want to get him to explain this one more time. What is the key to stopping short yardage situations? You see them get low like that, and the linebackers come over the top. Can you give us some football chat on that?
Yeah, I mean, like, so Sterling Lucas, phenomenal defensive ends coach. Trayvon Robertson, phenomenal defensive line coach. They both played the position, so they understand it. But, like, your get-off is just as important on a run play as it is in a pass play. So first man to make contact generally is going to win each of these plays. So you watch the defensive line, they're firing off the ball. They initiate contact. You see the internal 3 right there, like literally just eat 2 heads of Carolina players right in their chest. And there's just nowhere to go. And, I mean, D. Knight does a great job coming over the top, gets a hold of them, kind of stalemates them. And, yeah, you got to be different if you had Josh Allen or Jalen Hurst or something like there, but you got a 180-pound quarterback on a quarterback sneak. But, I mean, I say that. I would rather in a 3rd and short situation or 4th and short situation have the quarterback underneath all day, every day, twice on Saturdays. But a lot of teams are going in the gun, and under center didn't work this play, and later on we'll see that the gun did not work either. It just wasn't the day for short yardage for the Aggies.
After the stop there, Carolina able to go up 14-0 on this play from Sellers to Simon, his first touchdown of the night.
Yeah, I mean, this is a universal play. This is a different way to do it, but this is a tight end leak. So you're basically trying to hide your tight end. So they're doing tight zone action. Josh Simon comes down and tries to lull the defense to sleep. I mean, his biggest coaching point is, dude, make sure you don't get grabbed. Make sure you get out here. So you see him there on the edge. He's going to come down on the defensive end and just kind of get in his way, butt him up, slow, and then leak out. That safety actually does a good job of not losing kind of his thought process on the play, but Josh just runs right by him. I mean, Josh is a freak of an athlete. He's going to be playing on Sundays. But Josh does a good job just navigating his way through there, not getting held up, and then just uses his speed to run past the guy. And Lenore's, has pressure in his face, but trust that Josh is going to be there and puts a great ball. This is another great play call. I mean, it's kind of based off a little triple action, and then you always roll the quarterback away from where the leak is happening. And one of the big coaching points here, because we ran this a bunch when I was with Kyle Shanahan, we ran the wide zone scheme. We ran this more in the wide zone world, is like usually when you run keeper
game.
Pause
that, Phil.
Usually when you run keeper game where the quarterback's rolling out away, the running back's usually always on a wheel to try to pull the corner, linebacker, safety, just to pull people over there. He cannot run a wheel here because there's a leak coming, so he stays in the flat. So if this is a big zone and the corner ends up bailing and sitting back, Rocket Sanders is sitting in the flat. So, I mean, they're in man here, so different story. But, I mean, Josh Simon just makes a heck of a play.
Well, that was my question right there. 76. That's Simpkins. You had the two guys that would have had a free shot on Sellers had he not gotten rid of the football. Obviously, did somebody whiff there? Wait, what is that designed like that? What happened there?
Oh no, Josiah's supposed to stab down, and I mean he's protecting the B gap. Now, two off the edge makes us problematic. So I mean Josiah should see that there's nobody in the B gap and should retreat back outside and try to grab a hold. But
okay,
you know it.
So he's a Simpkins basically he saw that late and was like, "Oh, blank."
Yeah, you know? I mean, you always want to, like, if there's ever too hot off the edge, you always, as a blocker, you always want to take the most dangerous, the shortest line. So take the inside guy. So I think he saw that guy trigger, and he's probably pulling for the outside guy, and he's like, "Oh shoot, there's a guy inside," and doesn't block either, but touchdown Gamecocks.
Well, worked out. Carolina went up 14-0 on that play there. Josh Simon had his best game as maybe the best game of his collegiate career. As you mentioned, he is going to be playing in the NFL down the road here. All right, here's another big one. Rocket Sanders takes off. Pretty simple. Gone. Touchdown.
Yep. This is where I started to get kind of sleepy, guys. After this one, I was really excited. And after it, I got a little sleepy. So here, I mean, like, I say it all day, every day. Run game's all about getting one guy out of gap, getting somebody out of gap on defense. Defense, it's all gap integrity. And I mean, in short yardage situations, Bobby Turner, my running backs coach in Atlanta, who's still coaching, he's like 95 years old. I'm just kidding. He's probably lower 80s. But he would always say, short yardage situations, first downs, then touchdowns. So make sure you secure the first down, and then there's nobody else back there. So I mean, here you go. It's just a simple tight zone run here. Zero, the backer goes to run through, and the safety's playing off of him. Well, Zero goes to run through, and he runs into Rashawn, and he's supposed to be in the A gap, he's supposed to be in the A gap, and he kind of peeks backside because I mean, Rocket did a great job here of pressing line of scrimmage. So, I mean, any success in the run game is you press line of scrimmage, make the defense tell you what you're going to do. So here you go. 3 triggers. Zero has the backside A gap and peaks in the front side A gap, and Rocket dips in, dips out, and then the rest is history. There's nobody left besides all the fans there in the end zone. Yeah, nice, you see him peek right there. Rashawn does a good job of just taking him where he is.
Yeah,
and the rest is just number 5 is a gifted player.
Yeah, he is something. Talk about the NFL. He's headed that way as well. We get another one here.
This is where I got really sleepy, guys, after this play.
Well, if you don't mind, don't fall asleep during this segment.
Yeah, I mean, like we have 9 guys in the box.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is how you're supposed to play short yards. You have 9 guys in the box. And you basically say, hey, if you want to throw it over my head, we got 1-on-1 outside. I trust my DBs. Here, I mean, Debo is just being Debo. He's just a downhill thumper, and he fills the gap, triggers fast, and this is a pretty simple scheme. This is just a tight zone with a slicer coming back. They have nobody working to the backside linebacker, which is, I mean, we have 9 guys in the box. They have 6 to block. It's just not good numbers for them. But Debo does a good job firing, taking a shot. I mean, this is in this situation, like you can't go base up there. You have to just go. He does a good job hitting them low and kind of stalemating them. And just, I mean, being in the shotgun on 4th and 1, it just makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Spoken like a fullback for sure.
Yeah. All right, here you go. Sorry, Phil, I got to do it. My guy, O'Donnell Fortune, is playing like an All-American.
Yeah, I mean, but what helps him here is the actual, probably eventual All-American is
Dylan Stewart
breathing down the tight end's face. Is that Dylan or is that Kennard? I thought it was Kennard.
I thought that was Dylan on that. Am I wrong? I don't know.
Hold on, let's see. It should loop back around.
Whoever it is, whoever the freak that makes that play, that's Kennard.
Yeah, that's Kennard. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he allays the tight end. Tight end goes to block down. He allays him. Tight end's like, oh, shit, I didn't block anybody. And Kennard's right in his face. And, I mean, this is a third down. No, this was second down situation.
Go back.
And he just kind of spits it out there. And, man, OD, put on some white cleats. Every slow guy knows white cleats make you look faster. They do. I mean, it's just facts. Us slow guys out there, we wear white cleats, not because they look good, because they make us look faster, but also they blend in with the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as close as he is to not stepping out, if he has white cleats, I mean, I don't know if he gets the call here.
But that might have been his third touchdown of the year, maybe. I think he's had, two called back?
That was what we would call in the NFL a rookie mistake.
Mm-hmm. He's going to the NFL.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't have many rookie mistakes in the NFL.
Love this play here, Pat. Been wanting to see this a lot this year. This is just designed and executed beautifully.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was designed beautifully.
Or executed beautifully. Excuse me.
Executed beautifully. I mean, you look here, and the first thing that popped up was like Nick Harbor on a shallow cross is wide open. I mean, if Lenorse doesn't have pressure on the backside, he hits Nick Harbor, and Nick Harbor is running, what does he run, 10-1 or 9-8 or something like that right down your throat. I mean, he's wide open right down the middle of the field. But pressure in his face, he goes to abort and does a good job with his pocket presence. Rocket's on a burst route. We always burst away from where we come from, so no pressure. Rocket goes to release on his route and goes to burst out the backside. And Lenorse kind of, what you're always told is go where the quarterback rolls. And him as the first line of defense is told to run flat. I have no clue why. Like, I almost, because I was asleep at this point on Saturday, I had to go back and look to make, like, I was like, dang, that must be in a 4-minute situation where that he doesn't want to go out of bounds. There's 10 and a half minutes on the clock left, or 11 minutes on the clock left here. Trust your speed, Rocket. Don't get cute. Go take off. I mean, he had 2 yards on the guy. I don't know why he slowed down. Would love to see a foot race right there.
Phil, go back to that play. Right there. I was okay. Yeah, restart the play. I think they missed a false start there.
Josiah moved early. He also moved early on the first play of the game, or the first touchdown of the game. He was a little early on Lenorse's touchdown run because he was pulling. That was like a Q39 truck is what we would have called that in the NFL. But
yeah, it's false start.
Hey, we had enough calls kick us in the ass in the LSU game that it's finally time for us to get a little mojo back.
That's a good point. And that
trade a couple of not called false starts for not called holds on defense is what
yes, we're doing. That too.
It's a trade. Yeah.
That's a good point. Good point. And then finally here we've got the 8th play. This is the touchdown to Josh Simon, who really made it all work after the ball got into his hands here.
Yeah, I mean, like we this game's not over at this point. I mean, like I said, I was long asleep, but this game was not over at this point. It was 30-20 with a little under 3.5 minutes to go, and it was 2nd and 12. Honestly, it should be 3rd and 11 because you should have gained 1 here when this guy, both hands around his waist. Josh Simon just makes a great play and tough as hell and goes and does something special. But this is just a simple tight zone slice, bluff the backside defensive end concept. And, Josh just makes a special play here. And, like I said, this is why he will be playing on Sundays. Like this.
A couple things here. One, stop there, Phil. 20. That's okay. That's all right. Let it play. Watch 22 here off the edge here. The fake to Rocky.
He's in no man's land.
Yeah. Wow. And then
I was always taught on this play. I did this a lot in the NFL. Was you're always supposed to cross face of that defensive end. You're always supposed to like give yourself an angle for the pass. I mean, Josh decides to dip underneath, which, if you cross his face, you make him stop his feet and kind of give the quarterback a chance to get the ball off. The guy stops his feet and is staring at something. I don't know what he's staring at. But Lenorse does a good job just putting the ball on him. And then, this is just Josh Simon making a heck of a play.
That play right there, okay, busting out of that tackle and running down the sideline there. I'm not exactly sure what they clocked him at for speed and all that, this, that, and the other. What are he's 6'4.5", I think, almost 6'5", around
250, 245.
Yeah, I think he's a little heavier than that now, Pat. I think he's around 260. But either way, what are NFL scouts seeing right there? This guy, like what?
Yeah, I mean, he's
from a prospect.
He's improved his blocking dramatically this year, which has been really cool to see. We always knew. I mean, we knew when he came from Western Kentucky that he could catch the ball. He was a receiving tight end then, but now he's putting his hand in the ground. He's doing a good job of digging out the C gap, sealing the edge. I mean, we've looked at plays before earlier this year of him one-on-one with the defensive end in pass protection where he's locked him up. So. Right. He's just a very well-rounded, balanced player. He's played a bunch of football. Is this year 5 or year 6 for him? Let's just say year 5. So he's played a bunch of football. He's savvy, but I mean, as you can like you said, he's 6'4.5", 260 pounds. Corner. If you're going to try to make a play, you better hold on for your life, because if you just do that weak stuff, he's going to be running right through you. So, no, this was. JB, great plays. You teed me up.
We didn't have you yesterday. I figured that you just were excited to talk today. I
wanted to watch the game too. This is the first time watching something.
You don't mind if you check out the Vandy game this week, and we're going to do this again next Monday.
Hey, there's 45 kicks before young kids. It's tough.
It would, especially when you start drinking beer at 11 in the morning, like y'all were over there at the brewery.
Yeah. My wife was like, "What happened to you?" when I got home.
Pat, as a former offensive player, and we'll let you run on this note. And look, there's 4 games left in the season. Probably, most likely, I would say 5 with a bowl game. The Gamecocks defense. I just think that it's appropriate to continue to give these guys the pats on the back and all those things, but also talk about their futures. When I look at the guys that are leaving, at the end of the year, O'Donnell and most likely Nick Eamon-Warry, let's all be honest, right? And Demetrius Knight and Debo Williams, Kyle Kennard, TJ, Boogie, Tonka up front. I mean, those are the guys that are certainly sticking out right now. I don't see a scenario where not every single one of those guys has an opportunity to play in the NFL. Did they all go in the draft? I don't know the answer. I'm venturing a guess that quite a few of them are going to.
Yeah,
but they just all look to me from a development standpoint. And what do I know, Pat? But that's why I'm asking you. You're the NFL guy. From a development standpoint, the character that all of them have, and the fact that they're just really talented football players, that group there has a chance to really carry the torch for South Carolina, who's put a ton of guys on that side of the ball in the league.
Yeah, I mean, when we were at the Steel Hands Distillery down there in the new location down in the Vista, I asked Melvin and DJ, who we both did podcasts with, about the defense, and I was like, guys, like this is a group with a bunch of dudes on it. We went through, I want to say 9 of the 11 during the 2011 or 2010 or 2011 season played in the NFL. 9 of 11 starters on the defense played in the NFL. This is a group that was probably going to be pretty similar. I don't know if they will have that high draft picks. I mean, there was 2 first rounders coming out in 11 in Melvin and DJ, or Melvin and Stephon. I mean, DJ ended up being a second rounder. So 3 guys in the first 2 rounds on that defense. I mean, I would imagine this. I mean, we brought that up. Like coming back, we got DQ, Bam, Dylan, and Judge are going to be the 4 not shoe-in starters because nobody is guaranteed a job, but those are the guys that are probably going to be coming back. That have been playing significant snaps so far on the defense. So I mean, that's 7 guys.
Yeah, those guys they're really, really freaking good. I think they're going to be a tough matchup for Diego Pavia.
I think most of them have a COVID year, right? Don't they get a free year out of this? Like,
they've all gotten this. Yeah, all those dudes have been through that already, though. Remember, Pat, COVID was 5 seasons ago.
Yeah,
we're getting old, man. Man, we're getting old.
Somebody offered me one of these other SEC teams called me and said, "Don't you have a COVID year left?" 3 years ago, and I had to turn that down. Thank God.
Yeah, I don't know if your body can sustain it now. All the weight you've lost, you might be. I don't know. You're looking more like a kicker than a fullback these days.
Oh, I appreciate that, JB, with his condescending and the remark you're making right there.
Hey, think about Ryan.
Just wait till I see you in 2 weeks of the Letterman's golf tournament. I'll let you know I didn't play kicker.
Think about Ryan Suckup. Ryan's a kicker. He's the biggest dude. He's a freak.
I'll remember it. Now keep receipts.
I just taken the NIL money and ran there, Pat. You get the check, you stay on roster, you get hurt, in preseason, and you don't have to be seen on the field, but you get to keep the money.
Just like Juice Wells, absolutely.
I'm gonna say it, but yeah, you go ahead. All
right. One other quick note here. We already mentioned Shane being named the Bobby Dodd Coach of the Week, and Dylan being the Freshman of the Week. Also, Lenora Sellers and Jackson Dart, co-quarterbacks of the week, presented by the Davey O'Brien National Quarterback Awards. So that's nice. Pretty cool. Bunch of awards coming in this week for the Gamecocks, in addition to those players of the week that were announced yesterday.
How about freaking Vandy in the top 25 going into this week? Like, this is a matchup that,
I think so that
going into the season.
Yeah, but that ranking yesterday is going to be squashed once the rankings come out tonight. You won't even be looking at the AP anymore. So I actually think that both Vandy and Carolina tonight are going to be in the college football playoff rankings. I think they're going to be like 24, 25.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Josh Pate said it yesterday, and he's right. You cannot convince me that there are 25 football teams better than South Carolina.
I agree.
They're not. There are some that are better, not 25 of them. This team is really good. They've had their heart broken twice. Had one of those heartbreaks gone their way like it should have, they'd be tonight knocking on the door of the top 12. I mean, I'm not just saying that. It's true. Yeah. I mean, they're really, really good. And I think they're going to continue to prove it. Pat, who are you going to release tomorrow on Tailgate Talks?
We are releasing Two Spoon Swagoo.
Ooh.
DJ. Yeah.
Did the Arkansas game come up where he had 45 yards and penalties in about 15 seconds?
Yep. We talked about that. We talked about him hitting Andre Ellington. We talked about him picking off the long snapper snap pregame. We talked about all the chaotic moments, which there were several of them for DJ Swearinger. We talked about the grind flu.
Oh.
So everyone who's listening, make sure you go check it out. You'll get it on wherever you find your podcasts, Apple, Spotify. Then you can also listen on the app. And then also, if you want to see the video content-wise, make sure that you have a Gamecock Plus subscription so you can see Stephen and I's ugly mugs over at Steel Hands Distillery down in the Vista.
Yeah. Stephen had a nice long weekend. If you have not subscribed to Gamecocks Plus, we highly encourage you to do that. If you pull up our Chief Sports app, there's a link in their section, the Tailgate Talk section. You can subscribe right there. And, of course, listen and check out all the great partners of their programming and ours as well. And the very, very valuable Chief Sports app. Many of you, if you come to our tailgate party next week over at TLC, Pat's going to stop by for a little bit. Y'all can take some pictures and get $50 autographs and stuff like that. I'm just kidding.
What? The NIL what? Keep talking.
What?
Keep talking.
That's right. Hold on. Yeah, that's right.
Steven's the only one who charges for autographs. The DiMarcos do not.
I give high fives.
That's right. That's right. Hey, man, great stuff as always. Really, really appreciate it. Can't wait to listen to you, Steven, and DJ tomorrow morning.
Yep, of course. See you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, brother. Pat. There you go. My good buddy, the great Pat DiMarco, one of the best representatives in the history of Gamecock football for the Garnet and Black. It's 12:37. We got to hit a timeout. We're powered by our dear friends at Electric Bikes of Charleston, electricbikescharleston.com. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Cornbread Cowboy, and you're listening to the show. We'll be right back.